This is my first live stream at home, so I am not very familiar with this, but we are going to give it a shot. Hello, honey badger, can you hear me? Martin, hello Martin, can you hear me? Is the audio okay? That's brilliant. This is the first time me actually doing this. I'm just set up. So hello Anne Rees, hello Martin, Michael Patrick Vlogs, hello, Honey Badger, hello, Badger X, hello. I decided just to come on. Like I have a quick all set up for a studio and stuff, and I thought I might do this once a week, and I just want to see what the connection is like. I will connect up a studio mic and stuff like that, and have this a little bit more neat, and that maybe have some lights in the background and that. I wanted to do this to engage with people, you know, rather than just doing videos out and about and that, and doing premieres where I'm not actually talking to people, I'm talking to people in the chat. So I just thought I would give this a shot. How are you feeling? And I am not 100%, to be honest with you. I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly and that, but I'm just not in the mood at the moment to do. I would love to go out and do paranormal investigation, but if you're not 100% well, it's not a great idea, you know. Factory in Ramelton. Michael Patrick Vlogs, there's an abandoned factory in Ramelton. I would like to check that out if I could, you know. Hi, honey, I love your accent. I love Honey Badger. I love your accent. Thank you very much. I'm actually originally from Donegal in the northwest of Ireland, so that's where my accent comes from. Sorry for the state of this table. I just noticed it now. But well, hopefully I will have this kind of all nice and that. And I know that there is a little bit of light coming in here, so I just want to kind of shade it over a little bit. My partner is from Dublin. Yeah, that's in the East Coast, you know. Anne was asking me about how am I feeling. I haven't been feeling well over the last week. I haven't been feeling well since I actually came back from Dublin. So I'm just getting myself back in order, really, you know. I'm at the factory, and I will let you know where, Samantha. Michael Patrick Vlogs, I will film at the factory and I will let you know. Be interesting to see that video, Michael. It'd be great. Thank you. Go to the doctor, like Philip said. Yeah, I'm thinking I will go to the doctor. You know, things haven't been this bad in a long time, so you know, I need to sort things out. We all sometimes, you know, we all sometimes suffer a bit with our health and stuff. So, you know, you need to look after yourself. You know, and as well as that, it's, you know, people that go on YouTube, they feel very obliged to put out a video, you know, on schedule every week and that. And you know, sometimes you know, people just burn out and stuff like that. And I burnt out with a lot of other things that's been going on and stuff like that. It's very, very important to look after yourself as well. Anything for the great friend like yourself. Oh yeah, Michael Patrick, who's where's Ramelton? Ramelton isn't actually in Donegal. I've been in it a couple of times myself. Cork Ghost Researchers, hello, welcome. This is my first time actually doing this, so I'm just getting into the gist of things, and hopefully we will get some sort of a rhythm going that we can sit down and chat every so often, because I see a lot of people, YouTubers, do this a lot of the time. A lot of these paranormal investigators, they don't go out every couple of days doing investigations. So, it is good to engage with the audience as well. And I really appreciate the people that have subscribed to my channel. I didn't expect to have this amount of subscribers. I was expecting I would get 200 at the most, but I'm really grateful. And one of the other things is to, I see a lot of YouTubers out there, and they don't regard their audience as part of their channel. They made their channel, and you see a lot of YouTubers lying to their audience and clickbaiting and just telling pure and utter lies and that. And I think your audience deserve a better respect than that. You deserve it. You deserve it. No, they don't. I agree 100% with you. Yeah. I'm just basically, I just thought I would try this out as a test. I'm connected up to the television here, and I have another little camera here which didn't seem to come on. The camera on the laptop under the television came on instead. So and does everybody can everybody hear me? I haven't got the studio mic all set up. It's still connected to the other computer, but that's what I bought it for. I have one of these studio mics with one of these big brackets and stuff. Michael Dunn, hello, welcome. I just Carpy Chris is here. Very, very big supporter of myself and paranormal tech, and I really, really appreciate that. Just thought I would give a different twist to this. Unfortunately, I haven't got 1,000 subscribers, so I can't go out on location and do live streams that way. But we can do live streams here at home. Irish Whiskey. Oh, Irish Whiskey Paranormal is here. Hello, Irish Whiskey Paranormal. Good to see you on the chat here. It's a channel I would recommend. I've been subscribed to Irish Whiskey Paranormal for a long time now, and he is doing very, very well, actually. And some of the times when he goes on live stream, it's it's in the middle of the night for me, so I miss some of it, But I like to catch up, and and I noticed too when I don't do a premiere. Now, a premiere of an investigation, you got this community that's here and chatting among themselves and stuff like that. And I thought, if we could go live now and again, and possibly once a week, and give this a shot, Obviously, I'm a bit nervous because I'm on live television right now, and I didn't fully prepare myself. But I will get used to this as well, and I'm trying to get used to reading the whole chat as well. I'm a very, very slow reader, so forgive me if I miss any questions or anything like that. Honey Badger, don't be nervous. I'll try not to be. You know, a lot of people, they get very, very nervous being on camera and stuff like that, especially live. And it's just, it takes a while to sort of get used to just going with the flow. You are doing great, Sam. Thank you very much, Carpy Chris, and thank you very, very much for all the support that you've given myself and also Paranormal Tech. You know, Paranormal Tech is a channel that I am subscribed to as well from Ireland, who do paranormal investigations every week, and they have very, very good locations. You know, you got these castles and these old historic ruins of old historic homes and stuff, and you know, very, very good. But all of a sudden, YouTube came in with this new rule of 1,000 subscribers, and that affected their channel very, very much because they needed 1,000 subscribers to actually go live, and they do live all the time. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name. Obsidian. Hello. Welcome to the chat. This is my first chat. Welcome to the stream. I enjoy your content as well. I've seen some of these. If you see him in the chat there, you know, give his channel a little bit of a shout out there, and go and see some of his videos. I've seen some of his orbs in his videos. Even when he was sitting down talking about something else, these orbs flying around, and some amazing stuff there. I'm not very, very good at reading the chat, but I have it up on the big screen in the corner. My television hasn't been on in months, so I decided to make use of it. Because I don't watch conventional television anymore. It's 100% YouTube for me, you know. Love Paranormal Tech, yes. Yeah, very, very good locations. You know, they recently went to 30 East Drive, and Martin is in the chat there, who is who goes on investigations with them. We were out on Friday night. Yeah, I thought they might have been out tonight, but it looks like it's Friday night, according to Martin. You know, very, very good. Yeah, yeah. And as it says, folks, it's just a test for now. I wasn't fully prepared for this, but it's good to see people on the chat. You know, and I have a couple of different laptops and a couple of different wireless keyboards and wireless mouses here, and I thought, you know, I have the technology, I just don't know how to use it, and I have webcams and stuff like that. So I thought, you know, I'll try and set it up and try and set up a studio and stuff, you know. So you know, and possibly get some light and up and do something with this backdrop and do something with this table and stuff, you know, and just yes, Samantha, Friday night, it's the only night Philip can do it. Right. That's from Martin B. Paranormal. So Paranormal Tech is on Friday night. If there's any other channels there, you have 200 characters to tell us about your channel and let people know what you're all about. I'm good with with if anybody wants to tell us a bit about your channel, and you know, other people can see it and, you know, check you out and stuff like that. I'm okay with that. You're a natural. I'll try to be. I am actually quite nervous with this because I've done one live before, and that was on the phone in Rachel's house, and Rachel was doing all the reading of the chat, so I didn't have to read the chat. I'm very, very slow at reading. and actually the screen is actually quite a distance away from me. You don't come across as nervous. The reality is completely different than what you see, and believe me, you know. There's another channel there that I actually watch, and do you know if you're? We were going into me not feeling well for a little while, and having a few challenges and stuff like that. There's a channel that I watch, and it was actually Lou Rock. Some of you might know Lou Rock, who is from Massachusetts, I think it is, and he often comes on to my premieres and stuff, and he talks to everybody and stuff like that. But he looks at a channel called Cab 7, and this guy, he's a 55-year-old guy who does live chats twice a day, one in the morning, one in the evening, and it's all full of positivity and stuff like that. And I find it very, very I find it very relaxing and very positive, So, because when you're on social media or YouTube or Facebook, there's a lot of negativity out there, but this guy is really, really good. Go check Cab 7 out if you can, You're chatting with friends. That's how I do it, but it is nervous for sure, but you're fine and dandy. Thank you very much. Obsidian. I think I pronounced it right this time, yeah, check out his channel. His voice is actually very very calming, Honey Badger, I do like live streams and other apps. I'll have another I'll live it. Yeah. Yeah. We were just recently done a video. We were about to do a paranormal investigation, and we just kind of felt pressure. We need to go out. We need to get an investigation done, and we decided, we'll go to a graveyard that we were in before. And I was halfway halfway out the road, and I turned to Rachel and I says, I can't do this today, because I just do not feel well. Why I'm not doing why I didn't do a paranormal investigation is simply, when you're doing a paranormal investigation, you have to be at your strongest mentally and physically, but especially mentally. It is not a good idea to do a paranormal investigation when you're not at your strongest, because you can get attacked. You can get attacked mentally, if you know what I mean. So, you have to be strong, because we don't know what we're investigating. We don't know what we're communicating through the spirit box. We just don't know. They say there's spirits, but, scientifically, we just do not know. And, I have been in one or two places where, it felt very negative, and it felt like it has affected me in that. So you have to be strong before you go out, As far as paranormal technology is concerned, my house is filling up with all sorts of gizmos and gadgets. But as I says in other videos, if you have a camera and if you have a couple of little bits of very basic equipment, you can do a very good investigation. And one of the things was, recently we went to Cumber House, and there was a lot of big technology involved in the investigation there, and actually that was one of our low tech investigations, because I just started to learn not to talk so much. YouTubers that are paranormal investigators have a habit of talking way too much in front of the camera and not listening, listening and watching, listening and looking, that is one of the little bits of downfalls with possible some live investigations where the signal isn't so good. You get these pixelated squares and stuff, and you cannot fully see. You don't have a full clear picture of what's going on around you sometimes, so it's very important that you have a good signal if you're doing live. Get yourself some dowsing rods. I have some actually, and I just keep forgetting to bring them. um yeah, I mean, like, I was a bit skeptic of the dowsing rods, but I've tried to manipulate them. um I've tried to manipulate them and I can't. um as you know, I'm a bit of a skeptic of a lot of things, but most of all, I'm a skeptic of a lot of what I see on YouTube. But the dowsing rods has been used for hundreds of years, for all sorts of things: communication with spirits, trying to find water, gold, or whatever you. It even says that it's used in the search for missing people. So and I found that when I hold the dowsing rods, I can sometimes get a static feel down my arm. So there is something going on there. And I try to hold them as still as possible, and still these things are going in and out and stuff. There's not enough. There's no, a lot of these things that we have, and a lot of these things that happen, we don't have scientific proof. But on the other side of it, maybe we'll never find scientific proof for a lot of these things. But I definitely do. I do trust the dowsing rods, to be honest with you. I just keep forgetting to bring them. You know, dowsing rods work 100% for me. That's Sasa Jane. I committed or communicate with loved ones daily with them. They're also good for your spirits guides to point you to portals in your home and close them for you. That's from Sasta Jane. Um, yeah, people do say that, what do you call it? The dowsing rods sometimes don't work the first time you use them. You need to get used to them. You need to use them for a while, and then they come sort of almost part of your body. Are you investigating an abandoned factory in Ramalton? We will let you know where it is, Samantha. Uh, handle your handle your rods on a daily basis. I've actually heard from the people I bought. I bought my dowsing rods in a crystal shop, and every so often I go in there and I buy some crystals and stuff like that. And they say, you should just handle them regularly, and you get it's something to do with the energies and stuff. They do become part of you. I take them to the cemetery with me as well, as you use them in the home. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I have so much pieces of equipment, and sometimes I get drowned in it. I go out to do an investigation and pack some stuff in a box and go out, and I can't obviously bring it all. If I brought it all, I would have to buy a massive van, and you just your mind just get cluttered with what will I use, or whatever. And then you have to remember the day before, what piece of equipment you're going to use, and charge it, make sure it's ready and stuff like that. So in some ways, it's not a good thing to have too much equipment, because you get caught up with the equipment itself, and your mind is distracted from an investigation, really. of shadows here in my home. Shadows, honey badger. I've seen a lot of shadows here in my home. Yeah, I've had shadows, and it's those shadows you see at the corner of your eye, and you turn around. And I've had a lot of activity. This is a brand new apartment, and it's only 2 years old, and everything was fine until I started doing spirit box sessions. And a couple of months ago, I was over at my computer, sitting at my desk, and I got a piece of paper hit on the back of my head. And a week before that, there was something came out of the side of my head while I was on camera. I was talking about something else. I was trying to put together some sort of a video. I can't remember what it was, but something came out of the side of my head, and you could hear the impact of it hitting the computer, but you couldn't see an entry shot. So I didn't know what that was, and there's nobody else in the house with me, Martin B, paranormal. My house is haunted. The bedroom is active. Yes, Martin was telling us, about some of the activities that's been in the house, Martin. Jackie, hello, Jackie. How are you? Welcome to the chat. This is my first live chat on my own. I didn't think it was going to go well, but apparently people can see me and hear me. So I'm thinking of doing a live. I don't know what that was. That's the dog. Doggy. See if my dog comes in and joins the chat, but she's very antisocial. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing this once a week, or a couple of times a week, and engaging with the people that support my channel. Yes, I like putting premieres out and that, and I can respond on the chat. But now I'm talking to ye. The last and first live stream that I've ever done was with Rachel, and Rachel was reading because I couldn't actually see the chat. But I have it all up on the big screen here, so I can read it somewhat. Yeah, I'm very, very grateful for what I have. I've hit 780 subscribers today. Well, I hit it yesterday as well, and I went back one or two, but that's YouTube for you, But I'm not. Yeah, I do get obsessed with numbers and views and stuff like that. But it is important that you don't put that as a priority, because I've seen so many YouTube channels. There's a couple of them in the UK, and their priorities have just turned to subs and views. Once your priority is subs and views over paranormal investigating, your paranormal investigations start going downhill rapidly, because you end up with clickbait in there, and then YouTube, 20 minutes of a video is supposed to be the right amount of time for a video. But with paranormal investigations don't last 20 minutes, I like to just push everything in there. I even leave in the parts, yeah, it's just like going live. I don't leave anything out. What happens, and almost 100% of my footage actually is used, and sometimes the videos are 2 or 3 hours long, and they're not entertainment. To be honest with you, they're not entertainment. It's not something to sit on front of the television with some popcorn. The people that would be more interested in those type of videos are people that can't get out investigating but want to investigate, and they have the headphones on and stuff like that. So and for us it's just the YouTube is a diary for documenting evidence. And like real paranormal, we go out to places, sometimes nothing happens, but that's just the way it is, Yeah, this channel started off as I was sort of influenced by Omar Gosh TV, going out and doing abandoned exploring and that. And I went to some of these locations, and some strange things were starting to happen. I was picking up. At one stage, I picked up EVP on my camera, and there was nobody there, only myself. So that re-triggered my interest in doing paranormal investigations. And after I'd done a first investigation on with a paranormal group, which was Carrickworkers Paranormal Group, I started buying equipment and just started to get into it myself, you know. But I try to get out as much as I can. Sometimes I suffer from with fibromyalgia, so I sometimes struggle, so I can't get out all the time. What's the best evidence that Lavender Lovell? What's the best evidence you have got? There is a question mark over which is my best evidence. We recently done an investigation in Dunry Fort where I asked. I can't remember which episode it was because we done this particular. It was called the Officers' Mess, and there was a bar area and stuff like that. And there was one stage where I says, "Can you show yourself as a light anomaly if you are there?" And I think I put it on a separate video. But the minute I said it, there was this flashing light that went up the middle of the room and went into the corner, and it just flickered as it went, you know. And looked into it, and slowed it down and reversed it and stuff like that. And it definitely wasn't. It wasn't a fly by the pattern of the way it was traveling. And as it traveled, it just flickered, and then it just went into the wall. And it went at such a high speed, I had to slow it down. And flies generally don't fly at such high speed towards a wall. Like, they normally avoid things, and you see their the way they avoid it. This just went straight across, and you try to debunk it as dust. Dust doesn't travel in that kind of a direction either, but it's the way it flickered, and it was extra bright. There was dust. There was a couple of seconds afterwards, you could see a fly on the other side of the room, and you could see the difference. This was a bright white light. The other thing was we were at a cemetery in Letterkenny, and I was doing a spurt box session, and I actually wasn't looking out for the visual, but we caught something at the doorway of a church where my friend was sitting down at the steps, and there was this figure standing almost in front of him. And I thought it was a tree, or I thought maybe it was a headstone. But I went back, and I went home that night. When I seen this, I said to myself, I wonder, was that a tree, or was it a headstone or something like that? But it was blocking out part of the wall. So it was in this footpath that was sunken down. I went back the next day, and I couldn't recreate it. There was just no explanation. And when I zoomed in and looked at it, it looked like a big tall figure in black, So I didn't label it as paranormal because there is possibly other questions left unanswered and stuff like that. So very, very rarely do I call things paranormal, So that's we've only done about a handful, 6 or 7 investigations, and we actually been very lucky so far, because we've picked up EVPs and stuff. So and it just makes you want more. And I cannot understand why people want to fake this kind of stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, like, people fake this kind of stuff to get views and subs, but what value is subs and views? I know it's they say money and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you just I think there's great value in true evidence, and it's been ruined by some of this stuff that's on YouTube. Some of this clickbait and fake evidence and that. I don't see why people have to do this. You know. Yeah, my biggest gripes is faking. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't understand. The evidence is out there. But the thing is, and I said in another video, paranormal investigating on YouTube as a platform isn't a brilliant mix, to be honest with you, because you do a proper investigation and you film everything, and you even film when nothing has happened. It doesn't suit the YouTube algorithm, because they're saying 20 minutes is just the correct time to have a video, and the best thing to do is edit out the things where nothing happens. But if you're not a complete and utter expert, I've done it in the past where I edited a video to pieces and I ended up editing out actual EVPs on the camera's audio and stuff like that. But I just want to give it naturally. We go in there, we put on the camera, we uh, take as much footage as we possibly can, and we just sew it together. That's all we do. We don't mess with it. We put in a bit of music at the beginning and have a little bit of an intro, and I do a different intro to every single video, and possibly an outro, but sometimes we don't bother because sometimes the video is already 2 or 3 hours long as it is. But yeah. Yeah, YouTube as a platform isn't 100% a match for paranormal investigations. But what we do is we just use it as a diary, and as well as that, it gets us out of the house. It gets us out of the house, and because for a long time I've been sitting at home. I've had trouble with my joints and legs and stuff like that. I couldn't get out. So I was stuck looking at Omar Gosh and Mo Sargi and stuff like that, wishing that I was out there myself. And now that I am, it's made my life an awful lot better, because I'm getting out and I'm seeing the world and stuff like that. So, if we get evidence, we do. We don't. And I'm not. One thing that I really hate is this scary music, and these clickbait titles and thumbnails, because it's a bit too far from reality. We go in there and we just do the job. We don't have to put a scary witch or a scary graveyard with all this darkness. It's not reality. We just go in there and do the job. We get something, we don't. So we're going to continue just doing that the way we are, without the scary music. And this fake acting. Oh, guys, smash that like button, because I'm here in this cemetery all on my own, and I'm risking it all for you guys, and all this crap. Yeah, I just laugh at it every time I hear something like that. Do you know? 11 likes and 13 people in the chat. Doing all right for first live stream on my own. I'm sorry if I'm missing some of the chat here. I'm just a very, very slow reader. I'll get used to it, and I'll get set up properly at some stage, Yeah. Rachel is not available at the moment. She's away for a few days. So, when she gets back, we are going to go and do the investigation of the abandoned church that we discovered a couple of days ago. And I was standing at the gate, and I says, in here is an abandoned house. That's all I know about it. And then we go in and we see these gravestones. I said, right, it's not an abandoned house, it's an abandoned church. Because from the distance, from the road, I thought it was a house. We'd just seen it through the trees. And I'd seen it before. But it was a big surprise for us. So that should be good, you know. Looking forward to that one, Samantha. I'm looking forward to it too, but I just want to be 100% when I do it, you know. You know, I just want my mind 100% on the job, you know. Yeah. This is a great opportunity, you know, going live and talking to the people that actually look at your content and stuff like that, and having an opportunity to say thank you, you know. To knowing nothing and picking up information as you go along. Yes, that is a great point. The Baroness Twinkletoes. It's nice to go in knowing nothing and picking up information as you go along. You know, people go to places with historic, you know, with historic facts to look up the history and this the haunted history and all the rest of it. I don't really. I prefer to not know anything at all, and because I don't want something like that influencing my investigation or influencing my line of questioning. Like, you know, oh, is Jimmy who died in 1700 here or anything like that? I call out, is there anyone here to communicate with us? And if you are, can you tell us your name and all the rest of it? And then, you know, go home then and do the research, and sometimes it might match, you know. But I try not to. Some people like to know the history beforehand and that, but I don't particularly. I'd rather go in there just completely with a blank sheet, knowing nothing at all. Because when you have this information, like the history, a haunted history of the green lady coming down the stairs of this house or whatever, you go into that investigation and immediately these pictures you look at the staircase and you, in your mind, you've got these pictures of this green lady coming down the stairs, you know, and sometimes it actually affects people physically. They really think they see it and that, you know. So I sometimes rather not look into history when I'm going to a place, you know. Obsidian. People create a narrative and play to that narrative. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is why I think, you know, I would rather not have. I'd rather go into a place with just a complete blank sheet in my mind, nothing, absolutely nothing, and see what can be taken, what can be taken from there. Because sometimes when you know, the history from way back years ago, and sometimes it's not written, documented. It was word of mouth, and humans' word of mouth isn't the most reliable thing in the world, because you know, some guy sees an apparition of a ghost in a certain place, and it walks towards them and slaps around the back of the head. That guy that happened to, he goes into the village and he tells his friends in the pub, who some of them might be drunk, you know, he tells the story, this spirit came along and hit me on the back of the head. And the people in the pub, some of them might be drunk, tell the story to other people in the village, and then by the time it gets to the 100th person, it's turned into a massive, elaborate story. So that's why I don't trust an awful lot of some of these tales. Yes, some of them can originate from truth, but can it be, you know, 100% accurate? I don't think so, you know. So I just yeah, some of these hauntings can be true, no doubt about it. but are they 100% accurate? Sometimes, and a lot of the time, not. You know. I agree. The Baroness Twinkle Toes. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm a skeptic with an open mind, if you like to call it that. You know. See, did I? Terry, afternoon all. Terry, hello, hello. Welcome to the chat. As I said earlier on, this is my first time being live on my own. So it was supposed to be a kind of a little test stream to see is everything working. So and just a chance to thank everybody that follows my channel and stuff like that, because I'm really, really grateful. When I go out to an investigation, I think about all the people that make comments, and the usual people make comments on every single video and are very, very supportive. And when a premiere goes out, there's a nice little community chatting amongst themselves, and every time somebody comes in, there's always people saying hello and all the rest of it. If you have not subscribed to Life Afterlife, please miss out. Irish Pineapples Paranormal, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the support. Thank you very much. Yeah, it would be great to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm not in a hurry with it at the moment, but if I could get to 1,000 subscribers, I could do a few investigations live on location, but it's not a massive priority to me. You know what I mean? Market Made, hello. Welcome to the chat. Very, very nervous chat, because I have never done this on my own before. So, investigations. Yeah, I mean, like we are actually, because we only have a handful of investigations, we're relatively unexperienced. But I have to agree. I have to really, really thank Rachel for making all this happen, because I couldn't do this all on my own. I was actually starting to get fed up of filming on my own all the time, and Rachel has just brought a different twist to it. In real life, she cracks in jokes and stuff like that, and the two of us are like comedians and that. But when it comes down to the job, we're very, very serious. And she has no experience. She didn't even know who Steve Huff was. Well, she was better off. She didn't know who Steve Huff was. But do you know what I mean? She doesn't know. She didn't watch a while lot of paranormal programs. She watched Ghost Adventures and stuff like that. So she had no experience of real paranormal investigations. And I didn't show her a damn thing. And she picked one day, she said to me, "Can I use a camera?" And I said, "Yeah, fire away." So when I was doing something in one room, she was in another room calling out and being quiet and calling out and stuff like that. She's very, very good. And the reason why we call her REM Pod Rachel is because I had a REM pod for a long, long time, and nothing happened with it. I didn't get any evidence. And when she started investigating with me, we've been getting responses with it on a couple of occasions. So that's why we call her REM Pod Rachel. But she's very, very natural. She's not influenced by YouTubers' bad habits, because she hasn't watched many investigations. She does what her instincts tell her to do. Peninsula Paranormal Group, hello. They've just been back from Scotland, actually. How did that go? Hi, Samantha, just watching a REM pod conversation. Your REM pod conversation. Watched your REM pod conversation. Yeah, Peninsula Paranormal Group. Big, massive thanks for that opportunity to investigate Cumber House. They have been doing this paranormal investigating for a long, long time. And I learned an awful lot with them every time I'm with them. Don't be with them an awful lot, but anytime I've been with them, I've learned an awful lot. And the last time I've been with them, I've actually learned to actually just be more observant of the environment around me and less talking, you know. And as I said earlier on, a lot of paranormal investigators on YouTube, you know, they have the camera turned towards themselves and they're talking all the time. And I just don't. I think it's just it's a very, very bad habit, you know. You should just take the environment and just look around, just be quiet, you know, less talking. Because sometimes when people start getting massive amount of subscribers, it turns around and it's all about them, if you know what I mean. You know, Irish whiskey paranormal. Hope is all about selling $300 amps for $4,000. Yeah. When you think about it, right? If you think about it, he's been doing this for 7 years. Before that, he was doing ordinary spurt boxes and stuff like that, right? And then he came up with this amp with the pedal stuck on the side. I can't say it's a spurt box because, you know, a box is something that contains stuff. This stuff is stuck on the outside, and it's not an invention. It's a collection of parts, if you know what I mean. Um, but when you think about it, he's been doing this for 7 years. He's renamed it a number of different times to the Gold Box, the Wonder Box, the Portal, and all the rest of it. Like, but if it was so fantastic, wouldn't we all be using it by now? You know, 7 years on. Like, to me, you know, he'd be a great politician because every time he does a question and answer session, which he probably makes up the questions himself, but he seems to answer them without answering the question, if you know what I mean. It just and the thing about it is, you know, people that are coming up and coming in paranormal and just starting out in paranormal, the first thing they're going to see a lot of the time is Steve Huff and that. And to me, it's way far from reality, you know. You know, we started off with hacked radio boxes, and unfortunately, we haven't got there. It's very, very rarely you see advancements in ITC and that, and we haven't got very, very much further than the spurt box at the moment, you know. So, you know, my advice for people that are starting out, you know, start off with just an ordinary spurt box. A lot of people, you know, the PSP7 is a very, very popular box. I'm not a great fan of it. I still prefer the hacked radios for some reason, you know. I just think there's a bit too much static in it. But it's one of the reasons why I have about 10 or 12 different boxes, different types of hacked radios. And I find that some of these, what's my favorite in one location may not necessarily work in the same way in a different location, you know. Many people come to paranormal who are very versatile, vulnerable, venerable, yeah. Mariner Beagle Explorer, hello. Welcome to the chat. My first live stream on my own. Big hugs and love. Yeah, you'll have to excuse my very, very bad reading. I'm not a very good reader in the first place and that, but I have the big screen in front of me. Glad I caught your live. Thank you very much. We just actually done this as a test stream because I'm in the middle of setting up a studio here, so I can, when I'm not well, sometimes I'm not well, and that we can do a live stream and just catch up with the people that view the channel and that, and have a one-to-one, which it's nice, to speak to him. Deceased. Yeah, Terry is talking about not just that strike, celebrity Spurt Box sessions. Seem to just speak to him. Like, the big question is, if you were a dead celebrity, would you go to Steve Huff's house when you were alive? You didn't know him, this chosen one kind of stuff. Amazing videos and content to watch. Thank you very much, Irish Pineapples Paranormal. Thanks, Michael. The thing that got me, there's a lot of beliefs out there. There's different beliefs that you can call and speak to loved ones and stuff like that. I don't particularly. I'm skeptical of that. I use a Spurt Box on whatever is in the environment. I try to speak to it or whatever it is. But these celebrity Spurt Box sessions, some people believe in them, some people don't. I don't particularly believe in them. I believe that if you mention, let's say, Michael Jackson enough times on the Spurt Box, sometimes what's communicating what actually does copy us, because I've tried that out a number of times by saying a certain word and just keep saying it, and eventually, sometimes whatever is communicating with us actually copies us back. But the problem I have is, doing these celebrity Spurt Box sessions and saying you're doing them out of respect, and in the meantime, making huge amounts of money off the video. With adverts, I know it depends on the views, on much money. I don't know how much money is paid out on adverts, but then advertising your merch and, your mugs and your t-shirts and all that shit. I just think it's very disrespectful, Terry, Donna, right, Sam, exactly why it makes me skeptical. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to put down people that believe in celebrity Spurt Box sessions. I don't know what passed me just there. Is it a fly? I don't know. It just came straight up that way, but it's possibly a fly. But Steve Huff does them in a way that he just. He's got, I think, there's 3 Michael Jackson sessions. The reason why he's done more than one is because one was so successful that he decided he would do another one. And and then he puts these titles on his videos: best Spurt communication ever recorded. So if you type into your YouTube search, best EVP ever recorded, best Spurt communication ever recorded, he's up there right on the top. So he's just, I think it's very narcissistic. I think he as a personality, I would be very, very wary of, putting himself up on his pedestal like that. Hope retired a few times, saying he wouldn't do it again. A few weeks later, he's back. Don't personally like him. Yeah. Sometimes people, I think what he done there was when he says, I'm not doing this anymore and all the rest of it, it draws in the attention. And when when I said, you come on video and you say, I've been attacked by a demon. Oh, the word demon used in an awful lot of videos on YouTube, that brings in the views, folks, and the negativity and stuff, and then you get these, I've seen a lot of groups lately calling out for demons and stuff like that. It's not a good idea to be doing that, but if it brings in the views, and if you're in for your entertainment, that's good. But for true paranormal investigation, I don't think it's a great idea. He's a narcissist. That's the word I was trying to come across. Actually, I used to be a great fan of Huff's, and then I came across this. I came across this guy who was on Paranormal X's channel, which I used to watch, but I don't watch anymore. But a guy called Riley came on, and he had this. He had his little dinosaur, and I was saying, "Gee, this is different." But let's see what happens here. And then he told a story about what was happening to his little, why he had the dinosaur and what was happening with it. So I decided I'd subscribe, The next thing, I seen these videos where he was calling Huff out, and I was saying, how dare you? I'm a fan of Huff's Paranormal. I was a fan at that time, and I was going, how dare you? And eventually I unsubscribed, and I was unsubscribed for about a year, and next thing he popped up by accident, and I says, he looks familiar, but I subscribed to him again, and then it started to make sense with me, because up until that point I started to see little holes in Steve Huff's stuff, so I think it was order of magnitude was very, very a very, very big part of what we do today, because it makes us more aware of what is happening. Bum Stuff Paranormal. That's a brilliant name, isn't it? Welcome to the chat. Yeah. I just wanted to come on and see how the see if it was possible to do do a studio session once a week, a little question and answer thing. Order of magnitude's been a big influence in the way that we look at things, and anybody that's new into paranormal investigation, just look at his frame of mind and how he looks at things, Terry, I think many people were sucked in by Huff. When you look over the last 7 years, you see a trend of videos that are manufactured in a kind of a movie sort of way. And one of the things is, and I picked it up from Order of Magnitude. You hear him saying, asking a question to his wibbly wobbly box, and then next thing there's a cut, and then there's this so-called response. But once you ask the question, you've got this cut. Anything can be put in there, and as well as that, he's in a dark room. He's in this dark room, right? And he has the tripod set up and all the rest of it. So he's in control of the lighting. So he could put he could do spirit box sessions for a number of days, and then he could take them apart and put a response that matches the question and mix it up that way. There's nothing stopping him doing that, because he's completely controlled his environment by his lighting and stuff like that. But when you're doing a spirit box session, it's not a good idea to jump cut your videos. Just press record and let it go. Sometimes there's nothing happening in that, but at least it documents that there's nothing happening. But you know, if you start jump cutting an awful lot, it leaves your video open to questions. You know. See, you're doing amazing on your channel. Irish Pineapples Paranormal. It's good to see you doing amazing on your channel. Thanks very much, Michael. You know, we're not doing this for views. We're not doing it for subs. We're just doing it because we want to get out. We want to investigate. We're paranormal investigators. We're not YouTubers. You know, I started off being a YouTuber, doing these abandoned places and stuff like that. But paranormal is more interesting to me than actually being a YouTuber. I just don't want to be a YouTuber. I just want to be a paranormal investigator. And just YouTube is the platform that we use. You know, so as far as views and subs, yes, views and subs is great because it shows that we're possibly doing a good job. It's great, but it's for paranormal investigators. It's very, very important to keep control on what is your priority. Is your priority getting out a good video, or is your priority having a good investigation? You know, and Tulsa is getting out and having a good investigation, possibly getting some evidence, and the evidence is the gold, not subs and views. You know, I do the Donegal International Rally. I have one video that has 15,000 views in that. That's okay. That's okay on that line. But with paranormal investigation, it's just the paranormal investigation that's important, and it's the evidence. You know. Here, Grumpy. Seeing on what you are trying to get out. Keep focusing on what you are trying to get out. Yeah. It's just you know, it's in YouTube in the YouTube platform. We are always bombarded by fallen paranormal groups who change their priorities all of a sudden. And next thing, they're creeping in. Doors opening by themselves, and they're all going, "Oh, that door opened by themselves," and not trying to debunk it, and trying to, and the YouTube acting. The YouTube acting is one thing that drives me mad. Guys, I'm all alone in my own house, and I'm scared. I bought all the software we learn. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure I was going to get on live straight away, and I thought I was going to have to download some sort of software to go live and that, but everything seems to be good. Peninsula Paranormal, since your last live feed, we have hit 100 subscribers. Yeah, well done, Peninsula Paranormal Group. They are, they're paranormal investigators. With a true sense of the word, paranormal investigators, not YouTubes. Not YouTubers, the paranormal investigators, and that investigation we had in Cumber House and their expertise in that, it's a massive learning experience for us, because we're, I've only had a handful of investigations, and we do pick up bad habits. We do pick up bad habits from some of the stuff that we watch and that. But the truth of it all is there isn't very many big paranormal channels that I watch anymore. A lot of them just seem to fall into that YouTube trap of subs and views and YouTube acting and stuff like that. And I just get fed up with it. The truth of the matter is some of these small channels have absolutely fantastic evidence, and it's just not being seen, and it's true stuff. It's not entertaining or anything like that, but it's capturing brilliant evidence. And because it doesn't go along with the way YouTube wants it, it's not put out there. Because it's not entertaining enough for the YouTube platform, as it were. So trying to get videos out and shared out to the people, and that it's very difficult with paranormal investigations. When you have a lot of footage that goes on for hours and hours, and you put it all together, and you just leave it like that. You don't edit it or anything like that. I can edit. I can do fancy stuff and all the rest of it. Don't use that in the paranormal investigations. Background music and stuff like that. Not a good idea to put background music in the middle of your investigations, because you could drown out an EVP or anything like that. So just leave it natural. Might put a fancy intro at the beginning, but that's about it. We just stitch your footage together, And that we're not going to change anytime soon. We're just going to leave things the way, we will change some of the things the way we film and that, but we're going to try and keep it as pure as possible. And I think that's what's really important, Donegal Rally this year. James Johnson, are you heading to the Donegal International Rally this year? Absolutely, I am. At 4 videos. One of them got about 250 views, but I got one that there's 3 other videos there, and it's just hit the thousands. One of them went to 15,000 and that, and I don't mind. Thinking about numbers in those line of videos and that. But last year, I only learned 2 weeks before I went to the Donegal International Rally how to edit. And I actually filmed the Donegal International Rally weekend with a camera that I had just bought, so I wasn't familiar with it and that. So I wasn't expecting. What my aim was to go out there and get a video that reaches 1,000 views. This was in the end of May, the beginning of June, was it? Yeah, and I only started my channel that December before that, and it basically consisted of clips that were about 20 minutes long, because my camera could take a 20-minute video without dividing the files, because I didn't know how to edit at the time. And I just learned to edit about 2 weeks before this rally and that. And my aim was, a lot of people are getting a lot of views of the Donegal International Rally. Let's try and get 1,000 views. So what I would do is I'd go out and do the video, come back, edit it, get it out as quick as possible, go out the next day, do another video and whatever. And it was a very busy weekend. And unfortunately, on Saturday night, I became ill, so I couldn't film on Sunday, but I managed to get a 15,000 view on it. And those rally videos, they're getting views every single day. So I don't mind other content. I've been talking about views and subscribers that way, but with paranormal investigation, I just keep it natural, Good stuff. Love the vids. Thank you very much. I had planned to do more car content, but I couldn't get that done. Because sometimes I've been ill and that. And I plan to go to car shows and things like that. Might do it in the future, I'm going to try and keep some variety of content rather than just one thing, One of the things I'm concentrating at the moment on is just paranormal investigating and that. But we do other stuff too, And this live stream is it's a variety of stuff. We're talking to each other and stuff like that. And, it's good. I mean, like the one of the videos, the shots of the cars sliding around, just doing donuts around people and stuff like that. I know it was health and safety and all the rest of it, but I thought it was absolutely brilliant shots. And as I say, so I'd only learned to edit and that. So it wasn't a fantastic video. So, you know, every time you do a video, you should learn. I feel like I learned something, you know, and you try to make your next video your best video, if you know what I mean. You know, I love to look to look also on the Ireland for city names. Just love the candle. I make my own Sam. That's from Carby Chris. Yeah. I've made my own candles as well. You know, sometimes you get these candles and that, and you light them and that, and they go down the whole way down to the bottom, and then you're left with a big load of wax on the side and that. And sometimes I just I soften it down, and I keep the wax in that, and I can make my own candles after that. But I didn't make that one, you know. As a Yankee candle, actually. Gingerbread, you know. Yeah, I love my candles. I don't like too much light in my house. You know, I don't like too much a sharp light in my house. Sometimes candles are nice. They give a nice calming atmosphere, you know. You know. Yeah, sometimes I use a container and you put the wick in, and then you get a. Sometimes it's even a pen. You put it across and you tie the wick, trying to keep it in the middle and that. The only thing is, if you let your wax, if you let the wax cool down too quickly, you've got this shrinking effect, you know. So I just keep the wax kind of cooling down, just, you know, at a relatively slow pace, you know. Interaction, good things to love this kind of stream. Thank you very much. Yeah, I just it wasn't planned, you know. This was supposed to be a test. I was supposed to come on for a few minutes and then say, right, folks, it works. I'll see you in the next video. We're here chatting. It's good, you know. I'm sorry if I'm not getting all the comments. If I miss it and it's very important. If you type it up again, I will get it at some stage. You know, I'm really sorry because I'm a very slow reader. You know. Yeah, at the moment, taking a break for a few days, trying to get, you know, my head to be in the right frame of mind for paranormal investigations. Just I can't do it at the moment, you know. And it's not a good idea to have yourself in a vulnerable position while you're doing a paranormal investigation, because you just do not know what you're dealing with, you know. So you're better off being your strongest mentally doing an investigation. If you're not, don't do it, you know. And it was kind of weird, you know. Paranormal Tech came on live a couple of days ago, and he was saying somebody in the chat is suffering at the moment, and you know, they should not be going out and doing a paranormal investigations. My advice is not to do it. I don't know exactly who it is, but there's somebody in the chat, and actually, I was suffering. It wasn't a fluke. It was spot on. I don't know how he picked up on that. Wrap tinfoil around the glass. It will stop the cooling down too quickly. Yeah, that's to do with the candles, you know. I found that sometimes, and I made the mistake. You pour in your wax and you put in your wick and that, and you have a pen or a lollipop stick on across there. And I had the habit and I made the mistake of putting them outside to cool down. The next thing, you got this concave collapse in the middle. So Carpy Chris was saying, put tin foil around it and just let it cool slowly. You know. Sometimes, you know, if you had different color waxes, you know, you'd fill it up with a certain color wax and let it dry a little bit, and then put another bit, and then you have this kind of a rainbow effect, you know. Fighting Spurs, hello. welcome to the chat. We just came on. I just came on a while ago just to test a live stream because I haven't done a live stream on a computer. I done it on the phone. Myself and Rachel done it in Rachel's house and that. And Rachel read all the chat. And now I'm on my Todd. I'm on my own, doing a live stream just to see how it goes. Lennon Fort might be haunted. James Johnson, do you think Lennon Fort might be haunted? Think about paranormal investigations on ITC or whatever. People label places as haunted and that. Sometimes places that are not labeled as haunted can have activity in them. That's just the way it is, you know. You could have activity in, in any sort of place, and not your stereotypical haunted location. You know, some people say, "Oh, that house looks haunted because it looks old or whatever." Hauntings can happen anywhere. We've had haunted forests and haunted countryside and stuff like that, so we just don't know, you know. But any place with a lot of history, I do believe in stone tape theory, where energy is stored in walls and stuff like that, and there is crystal in stone and that, and they say that it's like a crystal recording. It's the energy has to go somewhere, and sometimes the walls and the objects around can absorb the energy, and play. And sometimes you got the stone tape theory where you see an apparition of a figure, right, and it just doesn't react with you, and they say that it's sort of like a playback of that energy, do you know? Do you think land forces might be haunted? Right? Yeah, I've gone through that one. Mariner, thank you for subscribing to our channel. Very good. Yeah, just check out each other's channel, and I have no problem with people advertising what the channel is about. It's about, checking out each other's channels. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there. It's a kind of a network, helping each other and stuff like that. So I have no problem with helping each other out. Just be respectful to each other, and people generally are on my streams because it's a brilliant community that we have here. Good positive community, And I'm actually picking up positivity by doing this stream, I know I trip over my words a little bit, but that's just me. Take me as I am. So, what's your favorite piece of equipment you like to use? What's my favorite piece of equipment I like to use? To be honest with you, it has to be spirit box communication. Any spirit box, and I have a number of them there. And it used to be my Texan PL 660, which is here somewhere. And it was a friend of mine that gave me that as a radio. And I didn't know anything about. I didn't know it could be hacked or anything like that. And it turned out it was quite easy. But I was going to use it as a manual tune spirit box and that. And these are £120 as a radio. So he gave it to me as a gift, and I gave him another radio because this one was very complicated. He just wanted a simple radio on that. But that used to be my favorite until I started buying the Radio Shack boxes. I'm still not a massive fan of the 12587, the holy grail of spirit boxes, the little small one that you see a lot of the YouTubers use. Because I think it's very prone to interference in that. But I'm a big fan of the 12-808. I think it's a great box in that. But I like my ITC. I like my spirit box, that and the video camera itself, people can do paranormal investigations with just their camera and calling out and stuff like that if they've got nothing else, you know. we're trying to get into EVPs with recorders. I've bought an awful load of recorders. I've all different types, and haven't been overly successful with that. But we'll just keep it up, you know. We'll just keep doing it, you know. Don't only use my iPad to communicate with spirits. I only use my iPad to communicate with spirits. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of apps, but I'm not saying that they don't work. I've seen paranormal investigators use nothing but apps, and I've seen them getting crazy stuff. Do you know? Philip from Paranormal Tech has an app that he swears by, and I've seen responses to his questions that I can't argue with. There's no way that I can argue with it it was pure pareidolia, and that I've seen some great responses and that. So apps do work, but just be careful what apps you get, because there's apps out there, and some of these apps, right? Some of these apps are made by people that are in the ITC field and make spirit boxes. So they're making apps on their knowledge, if you know what I mean. So, you know, there's some very, very good apps out there, you know. Appy Droid's a very good person for making apps. He's the guy that made the Paratech that a lot of people use, you know, and I've used it a number of times myself. And he has some spirit. He's got some spirit box apps as well, you know. One of the best ideas I think you came up with was putting the mic in the headphones. Putting the microphone into the headphones was that means you could do a spirit box session walking down the town with people passing you. Nobody's going to know any otherwise. So just be careful when you're asking questions. Is there any spirits here? And then people looking behind, you know, wait until there's nobody around and that. But it means you can do a spirit box session anywhere, and nobody is any the way. So what you do is you put the microphone that's connected to the camera inside your headphones, and your headphones is then connected to the spirit box. So outside, people can't hear us and that, but you can hear us an awful lot better because you're concentrating on it, you know. And that's the way I prefer to actually do a spirit box session, to be honest, you know. It kind of cuts out the other distractions or whatever, you know. Rod Piker Drones UK, hello and welcome to the chat. We just came on. I came on some time ago doing a test live stream. I haven't done one before. I thought I would give it a shot, and I'm still here. I'm still talking to everybody. So, you know, things are going good. So welcome to the stream. If you haven't seen Rod Piker's Drones UK, go and have a look. There's some great videos there. I always love drone footage, you know. And as I says, if you have a channel and you want people to have a look at that channel, you've got, I think, about 200 characters to explain what your channel is all about. I'm okay with that in the chat, no problem at all. I use my apps for Spirit Box. Carpy Chris, you use my apps for Spirit Box. The thing about apps is you know, it's on your phone. People carry the phones with them all the time and that, and it's convenient and that, you know. It means you're not carrying around bags full of radios and stuff, you know, and equipment and that. There's a big argument over, you know, these apps that claim to measure EMF, you know, EMF meter apps. But apparently, if there's a digital compass, or is it called, in your phone, which most modern phones does, the EMF sensor is used in that kind of way. So these apps that pick up EMF or measure EMF, so it can work in some phones, it can't in others. It depends on if it has one of these digital compasses or something. I don't know what it's called. I've had amazing captures on my iPad. Solid evidence. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually just I'm an old fashioned kind of person in the line of ITC. I use my spirit boxes, but I have seen evidence on apps, which I can't argue with those evidence that I've seen. I just can't. It just it's unquestionable that it's been a response to a person's question or whatever, and it works in some sort of it works in a different way than the radio, So maybe in the future I will try more apps, but at the moment I use my spirit boxes mostly, and different types, Folks, I'm going to go because please share this channel. Tons of subscribers, Samantha Break. Irish Whiskey Paranormal, thank you very much for the shout out. Donna Gracie, thank you very much. We've never come across a great app, so if anyone knows of any, let us know. Donna, what I found was, Appy Droid does, he does actually make real spirit boxes. So I mean, I trust his apps, But as I says, I'm more, a hacked radio person myself, My grandfather passed away in the morning 2010 of cancer, and lost my uncle 2010. So lost my grandmother 2000. One more time. That's Irish Pineapples Paranormal. Yeah, a lot of the time, people turn to the ITC because they've lost loved ones, and they want to communicate with them. And that brings. I mean, like, I've lost a friend, and I thought, if I get into the ITC, maybe I will speak to that person. It hasn't happened to that, but it brings me. It's if the possibility was there, I wanted to be there to experience it. Yeah. Happy Droid has come out with, he's come out with the Paratech, and a lot of the paranormal investigators use the Paratech. It's like an obulus, although the obulus is a very expensive piece of equipment. But Happy Droid does he makes his apps for free, and he has a couple of spirit box apps there, and his experience of making real spirit boxes, to my mind, tells me it's a good source. You know what I mean? Because he's an ITC. It's not one of these people that just make apps to make money or whatever. His apps are free, and he is in the ITC field. So, folks, I'm going to leave it there for now because I'm desperate for a cup of tea and a smoke, and that. So I will try and make this a regular feature, and I will be more organized and set up things properly so I can see the chat even better. And that I just wanted to do this as a test, So Mariner Biggle Paranormal, great live stream, Samantha. Thank you, Bumfluff Paranormal. It was nice to meet you all. Yeah, I mean, like it's a you know, coming on live and that, and having the people that watch your videos and stuff like that interact with each other, it's kind of like a community in that. And even if we're not going out paranormal investigation, doing a live stream every so often, it's very, very good for getting people to know each other and that. And when the next live stream comes up, the same people come on and that, oh, good to see you, you know, from the last time, how are you, and all the rest of it. It's great. It's a great kind of, it's got a community atmosphere. And I found I was getting some of that with putting out the premieres, but I kind of, you know, I think this is completely different. You know, being able to speak and that, and you know, when you're doing a premiere and that, and you're reacting to everybody's thing, they're typing away and all the rest of it. It's just nice to be able to speak freely to the camera and that. So, folks, I'm going to leave it for now, and I will try and set up a studio here so I can come on a couple of times a week, possibly when I'm not investigating and stuff like that. And we do question and answer sessions, and you know, we think of teams and stuff like that. I'm just playing around with ideas at the moment, you know, so we can get a bit of variety in there, you know. You know, you're not going to get paranormal investigation every single day of the week. So, you know, it's Peninsula Paranormal Group, great life feed, Samantha. Thank you very much. But I'm going to leave it for now, folks, and I will see you when I get some things organised. And we have a little bit of a studio, and I'm going to have my little microphone, and we can have this community grow, and you can check out each other's channels and stuff like that. So I will leave it for now, folks, and thank you very much for tuning in and stuff. So I'll see you in the next one, folks. Now, how do I turn this off? Thanks to everybody for joining us, and I think I found the button where I stop now. Oh yeah, end stream is down here. I'll get used to it yet, folks. I'll see you, folks. I found the button, so I'm going to go now. Bye. Bye.